So here we go, 50 minutes past the hour. Christy, today we are launching a brand new official channel for the Leo Zagami show. Yep. Isn't that exciting? Okay, we probably...
Hopefully somebody shows up.
It's probably somebody will show up, because we have already somebody in the chat commenting. Not many people, of course, compared to how we were operating when our main official channel was up and running. And of course, we have been also censored by Facebook. So we are really left with only a few people, but those few people, of course, are also the people who have contributed for this show. So we want to thank them. Bruce Codish, Shelley Annette, Pina Quero, Giuseppina, Karen Wells, Serge Lavache. These are the sponsors of today's show, Christy.
Thank you very much, guys. You're the best.
And here we go. Like I said, we are not yet able to rebroadcast on Facebook. It seems like they're keeping us waiting.
Make it really hard.
They make it really hard for us, because without Facebook, without our main YouTube channel, and without the will of the majority of the English-speaking people to join us on these emergency channels, because on the contrary of what happens with my Italian channel, which already has hundreds and hundreds of people in the live during the live broadcast, here we have only 15 people today. We are pretty down to the
nitty-gritty.
Nitty-gritty. Okay, there. Okay. We have Christy's books that are essential reading for those who follow the Leo Zagami show, as well as, of course, my latest book, which is available in both paperback and also in hardcover. Let me pick it up for you. Volume 7. This is volume 6.66. Soon we will have also volume 8. We are working on that.
It's coming.
Okay. Getting there. Okay, then, from Palm Springs, California, 17 minutes now past the hour. Here is 10 in the morning. But we are broadcasting worldwide, so people have their own time zones. There is people who are having lunch, people who are having dinner, and people who are still sleeping. Okay. But there is a lot going on. The nuclear plant in Zaporizhia, which was the subject of one of our shows, the situation is actually getting worse by the hour over there. It seems like they are exacerbating this tension. So maybe another nuclear disaster like the Chernobyl one will come into fruition. I hope not, sincerely, because it seems like Europe is already with their fair share of problems. As you will see in a few minutes, I will show you what Russia is doing with their gas. Rather than giving it to Europe, they're burning it. And then we have, of course, other news. Joe Biden caught once again in a controversy during one of his speeches. And instead we have the Jerusalem Post, which has published an article saying, "Is God punishing the United States?" Well, they might. I mean, if you have a president like Joe Biden, you can't expect God to be happy with you. Also, we have, of course, a continuation on the controversy regarding Trump, and of course, the redacted affidavit that was made public. Then we have also the worsening of the crisis, which is making the Germans I hope they don't go back to their good old ways. And they were not so good. Well, that's what's happening in Germany, where the energy crisis is yet again creating another paper toilet shortage. So, poor Germans, will they not be able to wipe their asses anymore? Well, that's it. And then we have instead a controversy closer to Hollywood. In that regards, Shia LaBeouf, which is this very famous actor, and there is a controversy, but there's also a very interesting take that he gave to Bishop Barron regarding his love for the Latin Mass. This and more on the Leo Zagami Show today. Okay. So we have you all in the chat, at least those who follow closely the Leo Zagami Show have been able to...
you guys are really cool.
Yes. Then we have people who used to be here every week, and we told them every week to subscribe to the emergency channels. They didn't do it, and now they're there wondering, where is the Leo Zagami Show? Where those people, sorry if I say it. Can I say it? They're a bunch of idiots.
He does this with the Italians.
Yeah, well, Italians, I'm even more harsh with the Italians. But that's why they respect me, and they come and they flood in their hundreds rather than 21 people. 21 people. Watch it.
We don't get no satisfaction.
No satisfaction. Okay, but like I said, we are doing this show mainly for our sponsors. We like to repeat their names again. Okay.
Okay, Bruce, Kodesh, and Shelly, Annette, Ram, and Pina, Cairo, and Karen Wells, Chavez Lavage, Giuseppe Carna.
No, that's Italian sponsor, so we don't cite them in the English.
Okay, well, there wasn't that many anyway.
Okay. So maybe I need to show you the statement of today of Donald J. Trump, which is a very profound statement and a very essential one. Basically, statement by Donald J. Trump. They missed a page, but this page is becoming Make America Great. I guess that definitely Trump hasn't lost his sense of humor. And by doing what they have done, the FBI has really confirmed everything I wrote about them in my book, Volume 7 of My Confessions, which is a book that is, of course, as prophetic as it can get. So, get this book. Some people were asking me, where do you talk about Freemasonry in my books? I mean, come on, guys. My books are all about all this. If I had to say, Volume 5 and Volume 1 are the ones where you can learn more about Freemasonry in all my books.
It's hot.
Hot. So you want to put the air conditioning down? Okay, you're hot too. That's okay too then. Okay, hit the like button. Yes, Bruce, they should hit at least the like button. There's 23 people. They should all put like at least. Okay, so let's go to Joe Biden. Joe Biden, who was, of course, caught in the middle of a controversy during a speech in Maryland where they started to yell that he stole the election. Let's check this scene.
And the whole notion of the burn it all down politics of MAGA Republicans continues to be a drumbeat. But that's all right. No. Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. That's okay. Folks, Folks, ignorance knows no boundaries. But we never gave up. We never gave in. And we're delivering for the American people now.
So communist Joe Biden was, of course, contested in Maryland, which is actually a state very Democrat kind
Is
of
it?
place. But of course, we know Joe Biden is not very popular with anybody, even with the Democrats themselves. I mean, they would love to have him out the way to put a more a candidate that will definitely get somewhere, because we know that for the midterm elections and for the next presidential elections, the Democratic Party are going to probably have some serious problems. But that's why they're pushing so much on the topics of choice, which is mainly one, abortion, which they encourage, and that's because they love human sacrifice. The Democrats are evil people. But we will actually like to show you an article today, because amongst the articles I read today, this one was particularly interesting regarding the situation that unfortunately was provoked yesterday by the head of the Federal Reserve, who kind of delivered. Jerome Powell, chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve, has warned that the inflation fight is far from over in the U.S. and said that we have to prepare for some pain here. It's like
How much pain?
How much pain? How much pain? I mean,
why does it have to be so painful?
Why?
It's already painful.
The fact that somebody like Powell is saying to us that we need to prepare in advance for some pain, it's not good news, Christy. It's not good news. No. I mean, I think that people have suffered enough, but they have not realized yet that this is only the beginning of the crisis rather than the end of it. And unfortunately, Europe will already see in the next few months the turmoil. And I'm not saying just, the classic people who go in the streets with their whistles and their little flags and they... I'm talking about the possibility of social collapse and civil insurrection, because that's a situation that is almost impossible to avoid when you have the gas prices yesterday reaching 320 euros for megawatt hour. That is a very high price, and Europe is really at the moment having some problems with these changes that will crash so many industries and so many honest people who simply were already trashed by the never-ending pandemic and now find themselves in this new inflation recession, though we should call almost this a depression, because that's what's looking like. And the euro is very weak, and Europe itself is very weak compared to the United States of America, but we still have a chance. The chance is simply to say no to half of this country who has gone on the wrong path. And hopefully, if there is no more interventions by organizations like the FBI, who are proving to be, like I said in my book, like Stasi used to be in Eastern Germany. It's like operating like a fascist secret police in a totalitarian state that goes after the opposing political the opposing political party, in this case, of course, here in America, the Republican Party against a party like the Democrats, which is instead in with the DOJ, with the FBI, with the CIA, with every federal institution possible and imaginable. So we are, of course, reviewing still this statement that was given yesterday that, of course, created the turmoil in the markets. In the meantime, Biden's energy secretary quietly has bullied the U.S. refiners to reduce European fuel exports. So, I mean, on top of everything else, we have basically these people not really understanding how the energy markets work, creating more and more problems. And then there is that whole thing this week, Christy, about forgiving the debt for the students, part of the debt for the students. That is also a move that will simply exacerbate and create more problems and more inflation, because I mean here we're talking about millions or billions actually that are going to be used to help these students who have not been able or are not able to pay their debt. But they should be able. They should sacrifice themselves. They should carry on like their parents did and like everybody else did in the American way. You work, to pay your student loan,
and so many have paid theirs off
by working very hard.
Yeah,
so I mean, it's
kind of like the immigration thing.
Yes, it's a little bit like immigration thing. It's people like me who are doing everything possible and imaginable, working really day and night, so I'm able to get my American citizenship. And then there is people who simply come through the border. They never work one day in their life, and they will continue not working one day in their life. I mean, it's really not fair, no? And then they get everything given by the state. I mean, it's Powell said we have to be prepared for some pain to bring down the inflation. And I think that is complete bullshit.
Aren't the gas prices?
No, God!
No. That's it.
No, God, please, no! No!
No.
No!
No.
No!
That's everybody when they go to get gas.
Okay. So you understand the situation here it's pretty intense. The Dow yesterday closed down 1,000 points. The Nasdaq fallen 3.9%, and the battle for inflation seems to be not only lost, but it's going to exacerbate, and it will actually increase the inflation because of the wrong choices that Joe Biden has been doing. But if you ask that idiot, what's her name, that idiot, the spokesperson of this idiotic Biden administration, do you believe the student loan will, this was her answer.
The question is, do you all believe that this student loan program is fully paid for? And if it's not, why does the president think it was important to have all of his other spending priorities fully paid for to be fiscally responsible, but not this one?
So we do, so this, again, this is the question that my colleague here, Ambassador, got. So we have to get a better sense, right, of what we're talking about as far as cost. Wait, let me just say that out loud. She is the domestic policy advisor, and when she was asked that question, so I just want to iterate what she said. But we do believe it will be fully paid for because of the work that this president has done with the economy, because of what you just said. What I just said is what we have done to bring down the deficit reduction. That matters, and the work that we'll continue to do. Look, when you look at IRA, it is also that $300 billion deficit is going to matter, right? When you think about that 1.7 trillion by the end of this fiscal year is going to matter as well. And also, here's the thing: when we talk about the pause being lifted, that's going to bring $50 billion per year back into the Treasury, right? That was actually not happening throughout almost for 2 years now. So that's going to be coming back at the same time that basically people are getting these
Okay, improvising, improvising.
What happened?
I don't know. I
You got
knocked myself. Oh,
You got hurt?
Here.
Are you okay?
We are in the. Okay, so we have something to tell you because Christy is a little bit upset about this situation here. With, I mean, only 23 people now tuned in. It's really ridiculous.
I don't know. It was just 70 people that didn't find us today. And then people say, well, you know, we find you afterwards. But a lot of like this kind of satisfying feeling is knowing that people actually like show up. Because like we come here at 10 o'clock and, you know, it's not easy. You know, it'd be nice if somebody else came too. And you know, say, hey, you're doing a good job and keep it up.
I think that this and
I see everybody else that has, you know, these people that have just started this adventure in spreading info, and they've got hundreds and hundreds of people. And so then I think nobody really wants to hear us. You know, they just want to hear bullshit.
Well, it's definitely very clear that the people don't listen to me. Well, because for months I told them to subscribe to the emergency channels, and they never did. They never saw that actually, you know, this might happen. They never. I mean, what kind of people don't listen to me? I mean, the people who, of course, don't read my books, who don't. I mean, so then who cares?
Reaching people. There's just a few people that actually like tune in every week. It's just a few. I'll do it for them. I don't care.
Yeah, no. I mean,
we do it for them.
Of course,
you know, they appreciate it. So.
Yes, absolutely, and that's why we are here.
And we see who's here and who. It's like the teacher who sees who's absent.
But the truth is definitely that in the English-speaking crowd, there is less will to come and search.
There's a lot more
us.
people that are doing this thing of spreading info, and so
but
people think that I'm going to get better information from this guy than this guy.
Okay, but listen, Leo Zagami has been here since the dawn of time in internet time. Okay. I mean, Leo Zagami has been doing this almost as long as the biggest people here in the business. I mean, people like Alex Jones, David Icke, these people were around when I started. Nobody else was around. And now we have a bunch of people that think they are doing whatever they're doing. But here there is somebody who has paid with his life for the consequences of, of this truth warfare. Or you understand? It's like, I mean, we have put our lives on the line. We had to leave Italy. I was arrested for espionage. I was tortured, this and that and all the other. These people have not suffered any consequences. Maybe they are blocked. Maybe they are removed from some platform. But
they haven't been kicked out of America yet. We were kicked out of Italy.
Yeah, well, this is the last country. I mean, if you don't want to end up somewhere else, yes, this is. So the show wants to continue, but we need to, of course, have your help, and we do it through Fundly and through GoFundMe. That's how we work. You can, of course, help us with donation also on Cash App. That is possible for those who live in the United States and in Great Britain. I will put it here on the screen. So for those who want to, of course, help us, we are launching today the Leo Zagami Show. It's a new channel in which you can really find also a lot of those videos that were removed, because, when they remove the raw channels, then we tend to lose a lot of material. And of course, this material was never lost from my archives, so I'm re-uploading it.
Which might cause some strikes.
Well, actually, I got a strike for an interview I did with the son of Oliver Stone, Sean Stone, and it's quite incredible because they told me that that I was actually giving the wrong information about the elections, but in reality, the interview was done before the elections. So how is it possible? I mean, it was weird to say the least that before the elections they could, and I contested it, but nothing happened. So we got already a strike. a young channel has already got a strike, but we will continue. So, okay, we are here on the Leo Zagami show with the rundown of the weekly news, and we saw what happened with Joe Biden in Libya. Yes, Libya. You remember Libya? Gaddafi, who was forcefully removed and then killed brutally because of Sarkozy, because of Hillary Clinton. This country now is also in a state of chaos, and today at least 7 people have died in the capital of Tripoli. Now, it might not seem like an important conflict with everything else that is going in the world, but you have to understand that at the moment, actually, most of the gas that is coming into Europe, now that Russia has, of course, started to slow down, is coming through Libya. And it's coming through the conducts that then pass through there and go into Europe. So it's always important to keep an eye on Libya, which seems to be also another proxy war where the interest of both Russia and America it's very much present in what used to be a state under the control of Gaddafi, who was, like I said, brutally killed, and then substituted with a bunch of thugs that are not even capable of putting together their own country and are eternally divided. This is what happens when, of course, the West becomes way too involved in things like that. I mean, either you go in Africa, Northern Africa, and you become, and you basically make out these countries colonies, but if you think that you can just direct them towards an hypothetical democracy, forget about it. So we are just here to show you what's happening, of course, this week in the news, but also in the last few days. And another important topic that I would like to touch is, of course, Prince Harry. Prince Harry, 25 years after the death of the mother, Princess Diana, Prince Harry is, though, really the least loved of all royals, together with his wife. His wife, that of course is a crook, a social climber, a really despicable person that has definitely transformed Prince Harry in another icon of the left. This is how he paid tribute to his mother this week.
My dear friend Prince Seso and I founded Centoboli 16 years ago in honor of our mothers, with a mission to support many of the most vulnerable young people on the planet and to give them care and help so that they can thrive. In Sesotho, the language of the Basotho, the word Centoboli means forget me not. Next week is the 25th anniversary of my mother's death, and she most certainly will never be forgotten. I want it to be a day filled with memories of her incredible work and love for the way that she did it. I want it to be a day to share the spirit of my mum with my family, with my children who I wish could have met her. Every day, I hope to do her proud. She was tireless in her work to support and destigmatize those experiencing HIV and AIDS. Fittingly, her favorite flowers were forget-me-nots. I hope we can remember my mother's legacy by recommitting to those that we serve, whoever and wherever they may be.
Well, this was, of course, the son of Princess Diana, who died 25 years ago in a car crash that was probably a murder, and that was never really cleared completely. We are, of course, here also showing a guy who has moved in the last couple of years to the United States, becoming part of the United States by criticizing everything that is Americana, and becoming the first royal since 1776 to really interfere so much with our internal politics here in the United States of America. So, what do you think of?
I don't think that the Patriots like that very much.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Back to England if you don't like it.
I want to suggest a book that was given to me by Ryan Gable. He recently published this book. It's called Liberty Shrugged. Sorry. A Companion of Liberty Over Tyranny. And it's, I must say, a very interesting book. A book, of course, about really the lessons that we can learn from communism, from what has happened with the destruction of our values, the degrade of the American system, and the possibility that we have now to save the Union, hopefully without going into a civil war. Because, I mean, it seems like that is what the left is pushing through. I mean, for the first time this week, I read and I saw in more than an occasion the left talking about the possibility of civil war. What do you think, Christy, about the left talking about it? I mean, are they wishing it upon themselves? Because these little sissies will get it if that's the case, and it's going to be brutal on them.
I don't think.
I mean,
I don't know.
What, are they going to wear their skirts? Are they going to cry like little sissy girls?
I think they're underestimating half of America.
And it's God really angry with America?
Half of it.
Definitely.
This half is just fine, I'm sure.
Here it says in this article of the Jerusalem Post, from the end of World War II and for 70 years thereafter, America worked the triumph of democracy and freedom over fascism and national land grabs, energized the American body politic to take responsibility and build the world after the devastating losses of the war. And they pretty much managed to create, even if, of course, they did it in a position that was, for some, not the right position, no? Because they, of course, said that they had to be the ones in charge of this new world order always. But then, since last year, the fall of Afghanistan demonstrated something different. The American role as a world police officer had ended, and that they didn't have that strong position anymore, because we have some very weak people, fruit of very weak policies, fruit of very weak teachings in school, fruit of a whole culture, unfortunately, in the United States that is shaping literally people, molding them into woke creatures that are confused about their sexuality, confused about their reality and everything. Now, we don't care what sexuality you are, but it's becoming increasingly obvious that they care about us. The heterosexual man is under attack in the Democrat America. Virility is under attack in Democrat America.
Yeah.
I'm a proud male.
He is.
Yes, I'm proud male. I like.
I'm proud female.
Well, that's it. But they don't seem to be. I see that they have.
They're confused.
They are confused. They are devastating everything in our culture that points towards
if,
normality.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody could feel this coming, like back in the 90s when they started in with these reality shows. And back in the 90s, I was watching them. And I was thinking in my head, I'm getting stupider and stupider watching this. I mean, is this supposed to be like, is this a plan? Because they kept coming and all these shows kept coming. And I was spending a lot more time in front of the TV because I had small kids. And, you know, it's just like, I don't know. These reality shows started it, I think. And we've been programmed and conditioned with everything. And now, like, the younger generations, they don't know anything different. Everything's a reality show. So I was watching a show the other day, and it was about an influencer. And he said, well, wait a minute, let me take some selfies. I need to make some money. You know, it's like I need to take a couple selfies so I can make some money. You know,
And then
a lot of people are, I don't know.
Yeah, they are normalizing
I guess,
also Satanism. I mean, we
Oh,
saw
yeah.
the other day also a cartoon. What's the name?
Little Demon.
Little Demon. I mean, it was like they were normalizing things that I thought it was just incredible. How is possible, something like that. I mean, I was shocked.
I was shocked. My mouth was like,
yeah.
And then they named the girl Christina, the Antichrist.
The Antichrist is Christine. No, but I mean, the whole thing was just not. It was weird because it kind of showed this normalization of subjects like a human sacrifice.
They were like in the cartoon, because it was a cartoon. They were showing like rituals, like real rituals that you actually do to, you know, invoke Satan.
Well, I mean, it seems like America is definitely on the wrong path, and it's difficult for us to understand also how close we are towards the possibility of a civil war, which was definitely destroy America as we know it. We don't realize. I mean, people talk very times almost in a oh, it's a civil war. It's not yet a war that we are fighting with weapons, but it might. They said, you know, this week I heard we might in the future. We might in the future. It's people who are talking about it. You watch them, and a bunch of idiots on the mainstream TV. Some of them have never had a gun in their hands. I mean, it's incredible where we are heading to. And so what is this society proposing? Is it because when they go after our guns, then the criminal, the thug ends up with the guns. Here in California, I mean, a person like me has to follow all the rules and everything and blah, blah. But if you come illegally from Mexico, you can drive illegally without an assurance. You can do whatever you want. You can kill, murder, and rape, and you can carry a gun, no problem. That also demonstrates, you see, when you want to take the guns legally and you want to have them legally, but then you are in a system like California that will target you for having those weapons legally. So remember that. I mean, is it convenient for you to have a weapon legally in California, or is it better to have it illegally? So I mean, it's not easy, but we are definitely facing a situation where you have people like the Kardashians, you know, that are very confused people. At one point, though, Kourtney Kardashian, in the middle of the pandemic, suggested something that maybe had was a little bit more interesting than what they usually say. I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but Kourtney Kardashian suggested God is punishing us through coronavirus pandemic. This was actually, I think, maybe they grasped a little bit of truth through all the lies and all the bullshit that they are usually proposing. Reality shows have been there to definitely continue on a mission that was started yet a long time before, in the 50s and 60s, from I Love Lucy to the 70s, going through the soap operas, but also the sitcoms and the life of the families like the Waltons or any other family that you will see, and they could have a million problems, but at the end of the episode, that lasted 45 to 55 minutes, that they will all be happy in bed, talking with each other, and everything will be fine. So, I mean, it's kind of like there was an illusion, Christy, though. That niceness was an illusion. It wasn't the reality. So then they go into the reality show, and the reality show becomes entertainment. And then, of course, that reality show brought in the phase of the Osbournes that led it to a new kind of degenerate way, the reality sitcom almost, And so then you have, of course, then that, and then you become involved gradually with all kinds of things that will eventually lead us to the metaverse, because ultimately then we will be confronted with the metaverse, and the metaverse is a place where already a guy has spent millions only to have his home next to the home of Snoop Doggy Dogg in the virtual world. I mean, people are so demented that they go through that kind of thing. So I mean, we have dumbed down people with the reality shows, but I think that then the real intention is to throw us all into the metaverse, because then you can be your own reality show 24 hours a day. And sorry, but I'm gonna have to move it so it doesn't. I spread it.
Well, everything is becoming more and more like not artificial, and everything, even like the way you look at like you see these people on the internet, and they're not looking the way they look. They have, I don't know, there's this new thing where they put a filter and then they show, like, they come out of the filter and then they come back and scare all men. And so, it's just all artificial.
So yeah, there is also an increase.
They see themselves artificially, like, this is my new face and it looks better than my real face, and I prefer this face because all the men love me here with this face, and I'm popular here in the metaverse, and so I'm just going to stay in the metaverse. And I think there's a lot of people that don't have God in their hearts, and they're empty inside, and they need something to fill that emptiness and that void, and so that's why they go on the internet and they try to get acceptance from people that way that they're not getting in the real life.
But then at the same time, we have this gradual attack on free speech that we never saw before. America was the place where you had a myriad of opinionists, of journalists, of people conducting radio shows without ever having a problem on their opinion. Now, you can think of what you want of my friend Alex Jones, but the fact they have gone after him and, of course, made an example out of him with $50 million for something that, of course, he said. They might have been erroneous, he might have been wrong, but this wanting to mark with almost 50 million this condemnation is because there is also a increased vision of the left that you can't say certain things. You simply can't say them. What it means they can't say them. I can say what the fuck I want. Sorry. And so liberty is about talking freely, not having necessarily your own opinion. I have my own opinion. And then this is what happens. It means that they can't take it anymore. They want to mark this division, and soon they will say, no, you can't say this, no, you can't say that, no, this is proper. No, so it started really 10 or 15 years ago when they started to talk about politically correct.
Yes.
I mean, political correctness, you know? And I remember my mother, they have to be politically correct. And I said, what the fuck are you talking about? And in fact, she never understood the Trump, really, my mother.
No, she
Never really understood Trump. But then after she understood that something was going on here in America, and it's definitely going on here in America, here we are fighting the last war for freedom and if we want to call it democracy, let's call it democracy. When this is a constitutional republic, but of course, we have this great gift, which is free speech. And free speech is a right to think, speak, and share ideas, to print, publish, and distribute the same. Something that is definitely under attack. And that's why the Leo Zagami show has today launched a new channel. Why do you make a photo? Face, sorry. Why do you make that face?
It wasn't a very good launch.
Well, no, but I mean, we haven't launched it yet with a myriad of articles and stuff on my main website that might help. I don't know. I will try. I'm not giving it up yet on the English-speaking audience.
You can't.
I'm, of course, finishing my latest book, and I hope that the English-speaking audience appreciates me more. If they do, we will come back in October with more shows.
They can't find us. Okay, so this is what you do. You go on leozagami.com and you look on the top, and there it is. There's the new channel. It's not hard to find. It's there.
Yes. It's you have an icon.
Maybe we need to say it like 3 times.
Yeah.
Like just keep repeating something. I mean, that's the way I learned Italian. So just keep repeating the same thing over and over.
Okay. So here, you see, then you have a Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is preserved as a well-regulated militia for the security of a free state in order to strengthen the latter against federal encroachment on individual and state rights. So this also was built in case they will use an institution like the FBI against us, or start militarizing all the various federal institutions and instrumentalizing against the individual and against the rights that we have cherished for so long here in the United States. The right of the people to keep and bear arms is sacred. It guarantees personal protection of self, family, home, and personal property. It therefore protects our right to basically fight against the possibility of lawlessness and I mean, when you are seeing a social collapse almost imminent, and it's imminent, why? Because half of this country thinks differently. Issues of race, sex, gender, religion, the regulation of free speech under the umbrella of so-called hate speech. Anything can be today talked about as hateful and offensively, but without protecting our right to talk and to have this free thought, we are definitely offending our constitutional rights, and we are creating a weak-minded individual. So a weak-minded individual, somebody that will never talk, differently, because then you will become scared. And this happens, for example, I lived many years in Scandinavia. Scandinavia has something called the Junteloven, and this is kind of like a social engineering that has crafted millions of individuals and castrated them of any kind of virility. The women control the whole of society in Scandinavia. they have all the rights. If in a marriage, you divorce the woman, takes the kid, takes everything, and that's it. But at the same time, they talk about equal rights, this, that, the minorities, this and that and all the other, and definitely Scandinavia is not a model that we would like to follow. The social democratic model of Northern Europe instead is the model that unfortunately is followed by these people who are promoting the woke, and they are promoting all this. So we have really a big problem here at the moment, and we hope that we can correct it. But this whole constant fighting against the persons and saying you have to behave in this way, you don't talk in that way, oh, it's not proper, oh, you don't do this, it's not proper. Oh. That tends to, in the end, it will make you a weak individual, and in the end you will end up like the Europeans.
No.
Yes, they wanna,
I live there. It's not a nice place.
it's not a nice place.
Not if
trust
you
me.
want to say anything and have your own mind.
Yes, if you want to join the herd, if you want to simply be like the rest of the herd, then that's okay. No?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like about complying.
Well, it's a great
If
life if you don't care.
If you comply, if you are like, oh, I don't care, or just stand the other way.
I'll just
something,
get it. I don't care.
I don't care, and all that. But in that case, I guess it's a great life.
Yeah, until yeah, whatever. It's
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 it's sad, but and so it's like we have worked now during the pandemic. Some of us have, of course, been pushed to work remotely, so to become woke, because gradually and remotely you have embraced really what they wanted from the beginning. Some schools are not even reopening now.
There's not enough teachers, they say.
And then they invent all kinds of school excuses, and they don't want to go back to in-person teaching after they had this time, with the remote teaching. They just want to stay at home. It's crazy, no?
Yeah, it is.
So
I feel sorry for the kids.
it's like we have basically children that will have many problems for years to come because of the fact that we're wearing masks, because of the fact that they are not used to have any social interaction anymore. Communism is around the corner, Marxism is around the corner, and socialism is starting to be normalized. I mean, you go on these platforms and they're making documentaries saying how, we have demonized socialism, but in reality it's a good thing. I mean, sorry, you are really seeing and witnessing things that are completely out of this world. And I repeat, then apart from all this, we have the censorship, which is really what has also put us here in front of 24 people when there should have been 24,000 or 2 million. And because we have, of course, this censorship that is part of the problem. It's part of the problem, and it's what Adolf Hitler and the Nazis used to do, or the communists have done. It's like they want to change history. They want to destroy 1776. They have also this other thing called the 1619 project, which is completely demented. And I mean, can you imagine erasing 1776 in the favor of something that is just bullshit born out of thin air? This is what's happening in America. by people who don't really, who don't really appreciate America.
Is that like a Black Lives Matter thing?
Yeah,
1619?
yeah.
Is that like when they were what?
Listen, these people are insane. Now, this project is a New York Magazine project, supported by the Pulitzer Center and all these people, and by historians also. But the project is really insane. It's like it's all this critical race theory. It's about the fact that 1776 is inherently wrong because the fathers of these nations were all slave owners, and anyway, in the end, we need to abandon all that, and we have to go to a more rational initiative in the hands of Black Americans that don't like 1776. Well, I'm sorry that I have to hear all this, but I won't become American. I like 1776, and there is always a lot of ships that are leaving from here to Africa. And if you want to go, the jungle is there waiting for you. And I can tell you, it's not such a forgiving scenario, Africa. A lot of the people who criticize America will find themselves killed probably within the first 24 hours they are in Africa. A place where you can't even go around without bodyguards. A shithole. That's how it is. So, 11 minutes past the hour, we are approaching that time of the show in which we open the phone lines. Unfortunately, there is nobody calling anymore because the majority of the people who used to call us, they have lost themselves. But we will...
Maybe next week we'll be on Facebook. Maybe.
Yes, next week we should definitely return on Facebook. And so we hope that we will be able to reach more people. In the meantime, I would like to show to you an article regarding biotech, which is a firm that we have all learned not to appreciate, because I don't appreciate, but during the pandemic, they have been a very important company. They're actually, there is also a war that is fought now regarding the vaccines and all that. But biotech firm, I think this is not biotech, this is biotech firm, so it must be just create synthetic human embryos that will be used to harvest organs in order to facilitate transplant. This is crazy. It's an Israel-based company called Renewal Bio, growing embryos and then using them when you need them. It's like growing a human being and taking parts of it just when you need it. It's definitely a very interesting thing that is happening, and it's definitely something out of a science fiction or book. The startup wants to copy you into embryo for organ harvesting. It plans to create realistic synthetic embryos grown jars. Renewal Bio is on a journey for the horizon of science and ethics.
I saw a science fiction movie like that once.
Oh no, yeah, it's about crazy stuff, huh? Well, we like it to always pick up on this news, and of course, more news concerns this week Donald J. Trump, and they made such a big deal of the fact that some of his secret documents were stashed in with the magazines and other stuff, other items, and that, but they haven't really told us why and if it was really justified what happened with the FBI arriving in Mar-a-Lago. It seems like the only ones who have a different idea are, of course, the Daily Beast, which is really it could be really the publication of the Beast 666. This is the publication of the most libtarded of libtards. This publication today, I read an article on the Daily Beast, and I was like a little bit surprised because they said it's over. Trump will be indicted. And it's like, from what they saw, of the redacted indictment that nobody could see because everything is marked. So, but they say that from what they gathered, Trump should be indicted. And it says here, you heard me right. I believe Trump will actually be indicted for a criminal offense. Even with all its reduction, the probable cause affidavit published today by the magistrate judge in Florida makes clear to me 3 essential points. So let's see what are these essential points for the left. Christy, you can read them.
Trump was in unauthorized possession of national defense information, namely properly marked classified documents. Number 2, he was put on notice by the U.S. government that he was not permitted to retain those documents at Mar-a-Lago. Number 3, he continued to maintain possession of the documents and allegedly undertook efforts to conceal them in different places throughout the property, up until the FBI finally executed a search warrant.
Now, what do we think about this, Christy?
I think it's so unfair what they've done to this poor man who's the best president we've ever had. He's definitely suffered. He's suffered a lot. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's all ridiculous.
Crazy.
And they're angering. It's like they almost want to anger like the right, you know? Because it was making people angrier and angrier. And what else are they going to do? If they ever tried to arrest him, that would be not very good.
I think if they want the ultimate trigger to start a civil war, not of words, but of guns, well, they're going to arrest Donald J. Trump, and I think we will have that automatically. Yeah. Will that then lead to the breakup of the United States of America? Probably, because then there will be entire states that will probably be moving against a union and against federal institutions that have definitely overreached their own role.
We're heading in this kind of direction.
Yeah. It's definitely here what's happening. It makes us clear that they seem to want to incentivize this whole breakup of America, and they think they are kind of like comfortable with saying that half of America is made up of fascists, calling MAGA Republicans fascists. That's another thing that was said basically this week by Joe Biden. It's kind of incredible. He was supposed to be the president who unites all Americans, but in reality, he's not. In the meantime, if you want to go to the good old Nazis in Europe, yes, the Germans, they not only are gonna, of course, have some serious problems, and the problems are growing by the minute because Russia is burning rather than giving their gas. So we have images that I want to show you. I think I had these images. No, I think I have them. I'm not sure. I had seen these images and I wanted to download them, but I don't think I actually download them. It was about basically showing how Russia is burning the gas rather than giving it to the European Union. And in the meantime, of course, Russia is accusing also Ukraine of bombing the nuclear plant of Zaporizhia, which is at the moment at the center of this big controversy. We don't really know what's going to happen, but it seems like if, of course, we go towards another Chernobyl on top of all the disasters that we already have, I don't think that would be definitely a good thing for the world. It will create probably a damage that might be really. It's like Europe at the moment is like in a state of turmoil, but if they have more problems, then they will really cease to exist as the European Union. But maybe that's great. When you see what kind of problems the Germans have these days, the Germans want to legalize sex with animals.
What?
The Germans want to legalize sex with animals.
Oh my God.
The Germans are screwed up in their heads.
Are they serious?
German bestialists are protecting to eliminate the country's animal protection law, which forbids having sexual relations between humans and animals. Zoophilia Pride March in Germany. Zoophilia Pride. Are these people sick in their head?
Yeah, they are, actually. They are poor animals. Poor animals.
What's wrong with Germans?
I don't want to watch this.
Well, no, these are just people in Germany who are basically
A bunch of sickos.
what is it?
It was a dog, a male dog, who was who used me, let's say. And in the moment, I'm living together with a German Shepherd bitch. For me, it is far easier to build an emotional relationship to an animal than to a human. And so for me, it's even easier to have some sexual contact with an animal than with a human.
Well, at this point, I guess that Europe deserves a civil unrest and a war like no other, because I mean, when you are left with this kind of people and this kind of pathetic values, you deserve death. No?
Well, it makes you understand why we're at where we're at right now and why God's so angry.
God is definitely very angry, and it seems like he has all the reasons to be angry when you have this kind of people. I mean, it's pretty obvious, no? Sad, but the Germans are the ones who now are in a crisis that will bring them again to the toilet paper problem. Every time there's a crisis, there's always a toilet paper problem. You know, there used to be one at the beginning of this pandemic. Check this out. Germans warn energy crisis will create toilet paper shortages. Well, the Germans deserve that after what we have seen, and they deserve probably much more. Remember that Zaporizhia is not too far from Germany, so if they get a nuclear fallout, they would definitely get it towards Germany. There is already a map of the possible fallout from Zaporizhia that shows that the radioactivity is going to go towards Germany. So I'm not sure that Germany is going to be laughing and carrying themselves like they are now. Instead, let's talk about something we talked about at the beginning of the show, and regards instead an actor and a famous actress who is doing a movie. It's Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is an actor who, by the way, was supposed to be doing also a film on the Rothschilds, on the Rothschild family. Never really came into, still we're waiting for it with Mel Gibson. But the interesting thing about him is this controversy that suddenly has arisen with a colleague who used to be an actress, now Olivia Wilde seems to be also involved in making films, who apparently kicked out Shia from the filming of the movie to substitute him, and or now the truth is coming out, and the truth is that apparently maybe he left. I don't know. It says here Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde, much hype movie Don't Worry Darling, which is supposed to be present now in Venice soon, causing worries as PR scandals increase. So, Erika, Olivia Wilde says she fired Shia LaBeouf from Don't Worry Darling to protect her cast, especially Florence Pugh. She recast the role with Harry Styles, with whom she apparently began a personal relationship. That's very convenient. But the thing is that now there is instead a video in which apparently Olivia was basically begging him to stay on the movie after admitting that she knows Shia made Florence uncomfortable. Let's see this video, and then we will also see more about this whole matter. I know it's kind of trivial compared to what we talked about until now, but it's also important because it makes us understand the state of Hollywood at the present time. And this is what the video in which she begged Shia to not leave the movie.
Shia, I just went riding my horse, very sweaty, but I wanted to reach out because I feel like I'm not ready to give up on this yet, and I too am heartbroken, and I want to figure this out. And you know, I think this might be a bit of a wake-up call for Miss Flo, and I want to know if you're open to giving this a shot with me, with us. If she really commits, if she really puts her mind and heart into it at this point, and if you guys can make peace, and I respect your point of view, I respect hers, but if you guys can do it, what do you think? Is there hope? Is there hope? Will you let me know? Okay, bye.
What do you think about this? I mean, it says here that the official version said that she fired him to protect their cast, but then this video says something different.
I think they're all a bunch of idiots.
Now, Shia LaBeouf did an interview with a bishop the other day in which instead he talked about his passion for the Latin Mass and for having converted to Catholicism after having acted the part of Padre Pio in a recent movie. This is Shia LaBeouf conversation, a testament, a really important testament about the importance of the Latin Mass, which is the traditional Mass that was carried on before the revolution of the Second Vatican Council ruined everything.
Almost from the office, activate the audience without putting the agency on the priest.
We have full, conscious, active participation. That's
which is where the singing and the back and forth comes from, whereas old Latin Mass put all the agency on the priest to be fully activated, and that activation of the priest was supposed to activate the audience, to activate the laity. That all the agency was put on the priest, and so and I don't want to get too far into this because then you get into controversy, but Latin Mass affects me deeply, and
how come?
Because it feels like they're not selling me a car. And when I go to some Mass with the guitars and stuff, and I'm from, Santa Ynez, right? So that's where I was catechized. And there's a lot of guitar playing. And there's a lot of what feels like they're trying to sell me on an idea. Yeah. Whereas what I feel when I went to Oakland and went to and by the way, there's a very incredible version of that as well. That's super activating and very emotional that I've experienced up there with Father Bobby. There's also, and Father Peter, but there's also this, something that happened, Christ the King in Oakland does a Latin Mass every day of the week. And it feels like it's not being done to sell me on anything. And it feels almost like I'm being let in on something very special. And the quiet, it activates something in me where it feels like I found something. It's a little bit like a band. When a band is pushed on you,
so that was definitely an interesting thing he said, in which you also, Christy, seem to have recognized a passage of your early life when you were brought into a Catholic church that was doing all this shit with this progressive thing, and they were detaching from really the Catholic tradition. So, what was that experience, Christian?
Oh well, it's just when I was living in New York, the churches there were Roman Catholic and they're very traditional. And then I moved to Colorado and I was living there for a long time. And I didn't really go to church every week. My grandmother did. But when I went to Colorado, the churches were very casual and kumbaya with the good guitar. And it was just not what I felt like. It should be more ceremonial and more with it wasn't like, like that. It felt hippie-ish to me. And so I didn't like it. And I ended up not going back. I said, I don't know. I don't like this Catholic church. And so I stopped going to church because there was so many things that the Catholic Church was doing, and I just felt like they were hypocrites. And then all the people that I met that were going to church, they were doing one thing and saying another. And going to church, it was like the typical hypocrite. And so I didn't want to be like them. And then they always want to sell you on God. And I think that, the love of God is in a person's heart. And just by being nice and kind, you don't have to say, you have to follow Jesus and all this. Jesus wants us to be kind. He wants us to love everyone. He wants us to be good people. And those are the things that make us good Christians, I think. Well, I don't know what I'm talking about.
In the meantime, let me remind all our viewers that September 16 to September 18, Dark Secret and Bright Hopes. This is an event taking place up north here in California, near Sacramento. Quite near Sacramento. There is Derek Gilbert from Skywatch. He's always a great spokesperson. I mean, how you say? Great author and person.
Like a speaker?
Speaker, yes. Like a speaker, yes. Derek has called, his latest is a startling book that connects the Roman god of Saturn, the Canaanite cult of Moloch, the globalist Great Reset, and occult symbolism inside the United States capital. Pretty much interesting. And then, of course, there is Leo Zagami. Yes. There is Leo Zagami. There is L.A. Marzulli, which is quite known on the subject of UFOs. And he made an independent film called The Coming Great Deception. Then we have Dave Bryan, who is an exorcist, a pastor. This is organized all... in fact, by a church, which is the Church of Glad Tidings in Live Oak, California. And then you have Dr. Brian Ardis, which is passionate about exposing corruption of the medical system. So, I mean, there is definitely a few interesting people, and you can just go on the website if you want to know more. The website is Church of Glad Things. Church of Glad Things.
Where is it? Oh, Church of Glad Tidings.com.
/events. /events. Okay.
/events.
Let me take off the finger because no, I have to put it because we can't really see it very well here. And church, let me see, Church of Glad tidings.com/events here. I think.
Can we open a phone line?
Yes, we should.
Nobody's gonna call. Lisa, can you call? Because we don't think anybody's gonna call.
Okay, maybe somebody will be able to call. I will open the phone lines. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The phone number. Casey, do you remember the phone number by heart?
968
No.
57 76839.
Okay, let me give you the phone number.
Was I close?
Maybe. I can't remember it myself.
Let's see. I said 968-577-6369. What is it?
Just a second. It's the number. It's sorry. Just a second. The number is okay. Here we have the number.
Hey, I was close. I don't know what I said.
I don't know. I was close. I don't know what I said. Okay.
I think I said 6369.
Okay, so the number which you can call to reach us is +1 970-577-6369.
Did I say that? I just got the area code wrong. I said that.
I think you said.
I'm gonna rewind this and look.
Okay. Okay. Well, here you have now the number on the screen. As you all know, unfortunately, there is not many people who will probably call because of the present situation. Welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. Who am I talking with and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Rose from Chicago.
Hello there. Welcome. You managed to find us today. Are you following us on which channel?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I always check your Facebook page, and all your shows get listed. Your Italian shows and your English shows.
Yes, that's true.
I don't know why people. So when I go to your Facebook, I find your show. Now, here's the thing. I'll just be honest. Okay, I watch you guys every week or when you're live, and I want to contribute, but I'm on disability. I'm partially disabled, so the money is very tight. But you guys do a great show.
Thank you.
And I get mad because I don't know why you get banned, number one. And number two, you should be giving lectures around the country.
Well, we are very glad that we have people like you who are so kind with us.
We just we really hold on to all of the nice things.
Yes, well, we have a few people that, like we said, are following us now. Around 30 people who seem to be at least loyal and have understood that we have moved to these emergency channels. But we have also inaugurated a new channel, a new official channel today. So I hope you can subscribe to that. It's the Leo Zagami Show channel on YouTube. And thank you very much for encouraging us today. Do you have any? Yes. Do you have any questions?
No. I mean, you guys are great because you guys have a lot of good information. Like today about that German story about the zoophilia. Oh my God. I mean, the Germans have gone insane.
I know the Germans, unfortunately, the problem is, you see, the actual school of Frank, like I explain in my book, volume 7, the Germans, I mean, they had this problem from the start because the school of Frankfurt then came to the US and inspired this whole woke ideology, was born, of course, in Germany. So it's in Germany that really the most perverse ideologies, I mean, communism, Karl Marx, Nazis.
Marxism came out of there, it's just crazy. And it's just like, that's why I watch you guys, because I went to school in Austria. And so I'm an American. So what's good about you too is that being a European, you have, and you're multilingual, because I'm multilingual too, you have the ability to catch the news from Europe that many people in America would never see.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, there is definitely a big chunk of news that is gradually left out, but also it's left out because they want to leave it out. For example, the fact that now in England there is a complete societal collapse, that people have not really understood the likes of. The energy crisis is going to push both England and Germany to have societal unrest. Because you see, there is parts of Europe which are a little bit more kind of used to be oppressed. Like, for example, Italy, Spain. These are countries which have a fascist DNA in them. Italy had fascism for over 20 years. Spain has fascism until the early 70s. So we're talking about countries that for decades had fascism, real fascism. So when they get oppressed, they tend to just do, like they might talk a little bit, but then they always comply. The same can be said to a certain extent about other countries. But then you have France. France is usually a little bit more awakened, but unfortunately it's been beaten down by decades of brainwashing. And then you have, of course, Germany. Germany was a country that was separated in two, then was put back together. But once you put them back together, here we have a country that is still combating in its own consciousness with what the monstrosities they did in the past, and the reaction is to go right to the opposite, to welcome anything that it's alternative. So let's that goes against our understanding of things, welcoming millions of refugees. We saw what that did to Germany. Then you had thousands of cases of rape. Women got raped left, right, and center in Germany after the arrival of over 1 million people from Syria. Nobody said anything because, of course, they had welcomed them in their country. And then you have, of course, now Germany saying no to the Russian gas, knowing that there is no other alternative. You are basically saying to your whole population, starve, because we need to help Ukraine. And that is going to happen also with the rest of Europe, sadly.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and but what makes it so bizarre is that it's the Eastern Europeans who are fine. Russia's fine. Eastern Europe is fine. They're not going to have any problems this winter. This is strictly a Western European, and Canada. They're insane in Canada. They're insane in Australia. It is. I watch. I see these things because because like I said, I'm partially disabled, so I watch everything from my computer. And these countries are going insane.
Yeah, no, there is the countries that are part of the so-called Commonwealth that was connected with England, with Great Britain. They are losing, of course, a connection with the reality. They are living the lie that, of course, it's been in a way it's been kind of like forced on them by naturally being brought up in the shadow of a monarchy in England, in Great Britain, but then they don't really have a president in Canada.
Trudeau.
Yeah, Canada.
They have a prime minister.
Trudeau.
Trudeau is a prime minister. Trudeau is a prime minister.
Right.
Then you have a prime minister in Australia. Then you have a prime minister in New Zealand. But these countries have a queen on their coin, on their SIM. I mean, they can say whatever they want, but they have never had 1776. And so they are bowing down to the same old queen.
Yeah.
And I was trying to pick up on Perry, Reverend Perry.
Move to Canada, move to Australia, and thank God, as bad as it is in America, we're much better off than Australia, Canada, and New Zealand and England.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
we're better because here the states can secede if they want to. So this forces this will force the federal government to stop some of its stupidity. We have that option here. Canada, I don't see anything going on in Canada. They're just accepting everything.
They accept everything, and I mean, their pathetic little tracker revolution was kind of like clamped down in a second, and they didn't really.
Maybe not heard all of the news from Canada.
No.
Maybe Canada bigger than what we.
The movement can be as big as you want, but if you get clamped down and crushed by a guy who is a half man like Trudeau, then you don't deserve to. I mean, it's not like, you're crashing a dictatorship with an evil dictator. You're crashing a guy with the face of a soap opera actor, just like here in California, you have Gavin Newsom, who is pathetic, and still people go after him. I mean, so we have some problems here in the United States. I mean, just to watch what's happening here in California and how the Americans are not reacting here. So, I mean, a lot has gone on. And so we can say that, yes, it's true. You are calling from where at the moment? From Chicago?
They're calling from Chicago, yeah. I mean, it's crazy in Chicago, but I'll tell you one thing. In Chicago, when they tried to force the vaccine mandate, nobody listened to the stupid mayor. The police don't care about the police have enough problems. They were trying to vaccinate the police, and the police said no. We have all the crime in Chicago, and you know, like I said to people, I said, the cops here don't care about stupid vaccine mandates in the restaurants. They don't care, and they're all gone.
That's good.
So actually, in some ways, I live freer in Chicago than in a place like California. Or
You
Canada.
probably do.
Isn't that strange?
But also here, we've noticed that in California, people don't listen to the rules either.
Yes, I mean, and like I said, I think that the
Not
problem...
that there are anybody that, you know, would go against the rules, because they're all the same here. But the people that do go against, nobody says anything, right?
Yeah, no, but the good thing about living in Illinois, even though we have stupid Pritzker as the governor, he's an idiot. Outside of Chicago, the state is red. So it's very easy for people to move, you know, out of Cook County and move to, you know, the red part of the state, and nothing is going on there. People, you know, they don't bother anybody there.
But the problem is that
definitely
the Democrats have occupied the cities with the biggest number of inhabitants, so they can control the whole state. And that is really what they've been doing methodically all around the United States. Even in a place like Montana, where you have predominantly Republicans, you have still towns, the biggest towns, in the hands of the Democrats. And this is a reoccurring thing. Watch Texas, Dallas, Austin, increasingly in the hands of the Democrats. It's a big problem because unfortunately then you are left with the decisions being made by a bunch of monsters in the cities. Monsters, why? Because there is no real people in the cities, but a bunch of controlling monsters, and they're the people who simply comply. Because in these cities, like we were discussing it the other day with you, when it comes to New York, but in New York nobody cares about the politics. Well, because in the cities they don't care about the politics, then those cities are easy to take control of, and then they are used to control the states. Now, I think that the problem here is really that the cities need to stop controlling the states, and so the cities need to become, maybe have a completely independent status compared to what the states are. Because by if we have to depend from the cities, this is what happened in Nevada. Cities like Las Vegas, that have a big amount of people living in them, have become then the territory of conquest for the Democrats, and in the end, Nevada tend to become a Democrat state, when the majority of people, maybe in the whole state, are not. So there is a big problem with these cities. These cities are smart cities, satanic cities, and cities used methodically by the Democrats to for their political games, and we need to stop that, I think. No?
Well, see, here's the thing. Okay, now even though they're doing this, people. I live in a good area, so I'm okay, and I was born and raised here, so it's kind of like I'm going to be part of the Reconquista. So that's my philosophy, but a lot of people are leaving, and of course, it's the people who produce, who do good things, and these cities are going to collapse. The problem is when they move to the red areas. See, this is what's happening too. When these people who flee, they go to the red areas and they try to infect them. And the problem is here: our stupid Republicans are so cowardly; they will not fight. That is the problem. They will not fight, and people, the schools here, like I said, the schools are pretty much everything is gone in Chicago. But like I said, where I live, I'm okay. But it's basically a ghost city. So in a way, they really don't have control because there's nobody here anymore. That's why we don't listen to what the mayor says, because there's nobody there to do anything against us, you know? And it's kind of like, so we're in the situation right now where the cities are losing power, but the Republicans who should be fighting in the red areas and protecting them don't do it.
I don't think that there is any political force that these days will be capable of opposing what's coming. Yes, we have, of course, the Republicans and the so-called MAGA Republicans that might be a little bit more focused, and hopefully they will manage to do something. But what is coming is so ugly and is so much controlled by external forces that like the United Nations will be capable of coming into this country once they have destroyed the very basis of this country and transform it in a third world hellhole. That's when they will come in with their own United Nations New World Order policies, and they will start sending foreign troops here on US soil. I hope that's not going to happen, but it's kind of like, you know.
I feel positive that no, it's not going to happen. I just, you know, like I said, I'm living in ground zero right now, and where I live, we don't think like that. Because like I said, they can't control us here, and we do what we, I mean, you know, we're law-abiding citizens, but, you know, we don't care what they say about mandates. They're pretty much gone. And nobody bothers us. The police never bother us. So, you know, that's
so
what
you're
I mean.
trying to say it's great
blue.
to live in Chicago?
You know, people,
I mean,
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
The thing is, I understand that you live in Chicago and you feel great, but this is a place where they don't let you have weapons. The only people who have weapons are thugs and criminals who shoot people on a constant basis. You're living in a hell zone. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, no. Well, okay. No, there are people who do have, see, they hide this. There are people like I check the local news. People do have concealed carry in Chicago. In fact, they shoot the criminals. We just had a couple cases a couple weeks ago where they tried to carjack some cars. The people had concealed carry and they killed them. They killed the carjacker. So that was good.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's kind of like people are kind of waking up and starting to have more concealed weapons.
Oh, yes, definitely. In fact, I could get concealed carry, but I don't because I'm so clumsy I would shoot myself in the foot. So I don't have a gun, but I don't feel scared. I mean, I'm careful when I go out, but, you know, I'm not terrified. And like I said, we do have concealed carry because, like I said, they've killed a couple of carjackers in the past couple of weeks. So people are, you know, they do carry. And it's kind of like we're in this weird in-between situation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's we're like in a limbo right now. Mm-hmm. We're like in a limbo because we're dealing with stupid Biden, you know, and then you know, MAGA and all of this. But in terms of, no, we have concealed carry here in Chicago. Yeah, no, they tried to take it away, but they couldn't.
That's good. That's good. Keep on fighting this war, and thank you for calling us and for being with us today. Thank you so much. It was a very interesting conversation because we didn't really have, you know, a lot of people calling us last week. At least today we had a very interesting conversation with this lady from Chicago, and what she was saying was very interesting. She has a very
positive attitude.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you live in your own reality, really, sometimes.
Yes. But of course, she was also admitting the problems that you might have in a place like Chicago. But people are starting to react because now, you know, they know that it's a dangerous place, and you need to have guns in a dangerous place to protect yourself.
Palm Springs is one of the most dangerous places in the whole nation. So, I mean, that's what they say on the internet.
Well, and the whole nation, the whole Coachella Valley. I don't think the whole nation.
It says that Palm Springs. Oh, do you know you're living in the worst place in America?
Well, yeah. Where do you see that? In some kind of.
They bombard me on Yahoo every day. They're trying to break down my spirit.
Welcome to the Leo Zagami show. Who am I talking with, and where are you calling from? Hello.
I think it's this.
Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? It's the heavy breather again. Heavy breather. Why don't you get some minties? Your breathing was too heavy today. Okay, so you can still call us +1 970 577 6369. Okay?
Yep.
Oh, we're nearly there at the end of the show, but we still would love to hear from somebody. Thank you. Thank you for the encouragement.
I try to encourage you.
Okay, guys, no worries. So we are, of course, continuing today with a rundown of the weekly news and of the latest news. And yes, it was an interesting episode for a number of reasons. But the fact that really the Federal Reserve has warned us of an incoming pain. How's that pain going to manifest? Welcome to the Leo Zagami Show. Who am I talking with and where are you calling from, sir?
Hey, Leo, it's Bruce Kodish.
Hi, Bruce.
From rural Pasadena, Los
Okay.
Angeles County.
Okay, great to hear from you. And
I was thinking somebody else would call. I didn't want to hog your show too much, but, there's a lot to think about. And I'm thinking that, even though I'm using the telephone and I turn on the lights and do other things that an Orthodox Jew shouldn't do, I'm a traditional Jew, and I follow what I follow. Let me put it that way. Anyhow, the high holidays are coming up, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And on Yom Kippur, we read, I pray at the Chabad, which is a Orthodox synagogue. And we pray, we read on Yom Kippur, we read the book of Jonah, which I think is very relevant to what's happening now. Jonah was called by God to go to the city of Nineveh, which was not, they weren't Jews there, they weren't Israelites or Hebrews. And he was told by God to basically go to the town, to the city, and, have the people pray and ask for forgiveness and repent for their sins so that they would be saved. And he didn't want to do it, so he escaped on a boat, and we know the story. He was
Jonah in the fish,
a storm, and he was thrown overboard and swallowed by the whale. And long story short, he ended up in Nineveh anyhow, and he said, "Why should I save these people?" And God said, "It's not for you to decide." And basically, the people of Nineveh prayed and repented and fasted, and they were saved. So, where am I going with all this? I think you're right, and I think things are going to get a lot worse. I think the lady in Chicago, bless her, she's fooling herself if she thinks she can stay in Chicago and it's safer there or safer in the so-called red areas. Every place is going to be a place of potential danger. And what people need to do is, and I've come more and more to realize this, whether you're a Christian or a Jew or whatever, religion you happen to follow, you have to follow God. You have to connect to God, the conscience, the soul of the universe. And what Christy was saying, it's not just what you say you believe, it's what you do. And basically, we all have to repent and connect with God, because if we do, we might be able to hold off the worst for a while so that more people can prepare.
Yes.
So, that's basically what I wanted to say. I think everybody should read the book of Jonah in the Bible, because you can make a lot of connections to our present situation.
No, thank you very much for this connection, Bruce, that you have pointed out from the book of Jonah. And thank you very much also for being very realistic about things, because I think that a lot of people tend to not be so realistic. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I live in what they call rural Pasadena. It's actually part of unincorporated part of Los Angeles County. It's east of Caltech. It's so far a very safe community. There are a lot of people here who are somewhat awake, and a lot of people who just don't know what's going on. And they think everything's going to return to normal, or it's returning to normal. And personally, I am preparing to move east. I want to stay in California because my wife's remains are buried in the Jewish cemetery here in Los Angeles, and I have a plot next to her. So when I die, I want my body to be buried next to her. So I feel like I have to stay in California, but I'm going to move east, closer to where you are. And it may take a while for me to get that going. I hope I have time, but I'm planning to move because, you know, Los Angeles is one of the most densely populated places in the continental United States. In fact, I was looking at some maps, and Los Angeles County has a denser population than most of the states of the United States of America. And when how does it go? When you know what hits the fan, let me put it that way. Whenever it does, you know, I don't want to be in Los Angeles County. You know, it's too close to the city of Los Angeles. The cities around here, like the city of Pasadena and San Marino, are woke. They're smart cities where they're trying to initiate the smart city. And in spite of whatever, you know, problems are in Palm Springs, it's out in the desert and it's away from the big city. So people there will have a better chance to, you know, make the next step if they have to. And that's where I want to go to. But, you know, we live in a very, very uncertain time, and we don't know what's going to happen. And people shouldn't be complacent because they don't live in California. And leave California to the libtards. We're in the red area of the United States. Don't be complacent. That's all I'm saying. Because there's going to be problems everywhere.
Thank you for your words, and thank you for your testimony, Bruce. Hopefully we will be speaking to you soon. And thank you for, of course, intervening on our show as much as also supporting it. Rambo is here. As you can see, Rambo is here. We are reaching the end of the show, but we will, of course, talk soon. And in the meantime, as Bruce has talked about Jonah, this is an important story that people need to know more about. And so I think that it was really excellent that Bruce brought it up. And so maybe before going, I would like to leave you with an animated moment regarding the history of Jonah that goes into the whale.
Jonah was a wise old man who lived in Israel long, long ago. He was loved and respected by the people. Everybody came to him to solve their problems, and he gave them wise advice. God loved him because he was a good man and he helped his fellow beings. Jonah loved God. He followed his teachings and prayed to God all the time. Nineveh was a neighboring country of Israel. The people in this country were known to be very evil. They did not follow God. They did bad things. They were cruel, greedy, and were always fighting with other people. Because of this, God was angry with the people of Nineveh. One day, God spoke to Jonah and called for his service.
Jonah, I have something to tell you.
My Lord, I am lucky to be of your service. Tell me, I am listening to you, God.
There is a place called Nineveh not very far from here. The people living in this place are evil. They steal from each other, kill their own brothers, and do a lot of other evil things. Their king is lazy and selfish. He eats, drinks, and enjoys himself while his people are starving. He does not care about his people. Their actions anger me, and I have decided to destroy them.
I understand, my God. I am well aware of their actions. They are a wretched group of people. They are also our sworn enemies.
In 40 days I will destroy the land of Nineveh and everyone living there. This is my decision.
So be it, my lord. You have told me all of this. But I still do not understand how I can be of service to you. Tell me, my lord, what should I do to make your wish come true?
You are a good and righteous man, Jonah. You have always obeyed me and followed my teachings. I trust you and your abilities. This is why you must go to Nineveh immediately and talk to the people about me. They do not know me. You must speak about my love. You must tell them to change their ways and become good people. Only you can do this.
But God, how will I do this? They are evil. They will not listen to me. Also, they are our sworn enemies. The people of Nineveh are constantly attacking us and waging war against us. They try to steal from us and harm our women.
That is all true. But still, you must go and talk to them. They will have a second chance through you. If they fail, they will be destroyed. You are their only hope for survival now. Only you can convince them to change their ways and turn to me, the one and only living God. I have complete faith in you.
God, you have decided to destroy them anyway after 40 days. Then why should I go there and risk my life? My countrymen will be more than happy to hear that Nineveh is going to be destroyed. They will abandon me if they hear that I tried to stop that from happening.
This is my will. You must do this, Jonah. You must leave for Nineveh immediately.
Very well, my lord. As you wish. Jonah was very troubled by what God had asked of him. He was happy that God had decided to destroy the people of Nineveh. They were the enemies of Israel. He did not believe that he could change their ways. But then, how could he disobey God? Jonah finally decided he would not go to Nineveh. He got scared and decided to escape from Nineveh and hide from God. Jonah traveled far from Nineveh over the deserts and barren lands. Finally, he reached the seashore, where he saw a ship heading to another city across the sea. He asked the captain whether he could get on the ship. The captain was not happy at first, but finally agreed. The sailors did not know about the one true God that Jonah served and believed in. They worshipped stone and wooden idols. They had a god for the sun, another god for the moon, another for the ocean, and so on. Jonah saw this, but he did not speak anything. He went and slept in the lower part of the ship. Jonah was fast asleep in the lower part of the ship. Once the ship had traveled a short distance, the ship got caught in a great storm. They were tossed around in the water like a paper boat. Everybody on the ship was very scared and began to cry out loud to their gods. The men on the ship were surprised to see Jonah sleeping peacefully while a great storm was raging outside.
Hey Jonah, wake up! Wake up! How can you sleep like this? There is a storm outside and the ship is going to be torn apart. Wake up and pray to your God. We have been praying to our gods for some time now, but the storm is continuing to rock the boat.
No, this is the work of my God, the one and only true God who made the whole world.
Did you do anything to make him angry? How can we stop this storm?
I tried to hide away from him. He gave me a task, but I refused to do it. That's why he's angry at me.
Now what should we do?
There is nothing else to do. You have no other option but to throw me off the ship, and then the storm will go away. My God will leave you alone.
No, we cannot do that. You're a good man. We don't want to harm you. Let us try to throw some of the cargo out and see if we can keep the ship afloat.
The sailors started throwing out the packages loaded on the ship one by one, but the storm did not go away. There is no use in doing this. Throw me into the water. Save yourself.
I hope your God keeps you safe.
When the sailors realized that they had no other option, they threw Jonah off the ship into the sea. And like a miracle, the storm subsided. The sea was calm all of a sudden. Just at that moment, a big whale came up and swallowed Jonah. Jonah was scared like never before. He was in the dark and cold. There was a horrible smell around him. Also, it was slimy and all kinds of things were floating around him. It was then that he realized that he was inside a whale. Jonah could not believe this was happening to him, but realized that God was doing all of this. Jonah spent...
Whoa, and here we go, the whale. Christy, how's that,
3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the whale. He prayed the whole time to God. He was asking for forgiveness and promised that he would never try to hide away from God. Jonah would lose hope from time to time and thought he would never see daylight again. He thought about the foolish things he had done. How could he believe that he could disobey God and hide from him? This was so stupid of him. Alone in the cold, dark insides of the whale, Jonah became very sad. But he called out to God, and it gave him strength.
It gave him strength. God always gives you strength. Now, for the rest of the story, you can go, of course, pick up your Bible. But it was an unusual and interesting way of closing our show after a very interesting conversation with our friend Bruce. We thank all those people like Bruce who made this show possible today. And thank you so much for tuning in today on the August 27th of the year of the Lord 2022. Christy and Leo Zagami will see you again next Saturday with more news in these troubled times. We are simply reporting the chronicles of this unfolding apocalypse with an unusual geopolitical analysis. Sometimes we like to also smile, and we also like to be able to laugh a little bit about even the most dramatic scenarios. No, Christy?
I gotta go make my pizza.
Pizza!
Bye, everyone. Have a nice week.
Thank you to all the sponsors of this show. And if you want to become a sponsor, you can do it with Fundly, GoFundMe, or Cash App. See you next Saturday. In September, we might have back Facebook. We might even have back the main channel on YouTube. We might even finally reach all those people who lost themselves.
Find yourself.
Find yourself.
Okay.
The books.
I don't have anything to shake. He always, when I dance, and he starts dancing.
Volume 6.66, Volume 7, Volume 5, and of course, Volume 4. Take care. See you next week. From Palm Springs, California, this was the Leo Zagami Show.